even when they kidnapped him in 2015, 2020, then 2021, when they kidnapped him again from Kenya. Now, prior to that, I need you to take a moment as an Igbo person. I know I may not really be in your shoes. So I didn't have changed my screen. So I may not be in your shoes. But take a moment, all right, to reflect, to remind yourself. There was never any form of hooligancy. There is no form of a violence, harassment that is linked or associated with any of the IPOB that Nnamdi Kanu was supervising. Not a single one. Not a single report. You will say, oh, prompted the police to take action anywhere in Igbo land. Until 2021. First, 2020, when the ESN started. Then they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, 2021, again. And then surprisingly, they started having unknown gunmen, unknown deeds. You know how all of that played out, how all of that went. Some of you said, oh, it was because he already created the idea. How come that idea was never implemented when he was even in their detention? There was no disruption, there was no nothing, to the best of my own knowledge. Then they kidnapped him. This time they have now dropped the treasonable felony charges. They dropped that. They now changed it. This is time to change it to terrorism. How could somebody in your detention, if this insecurity breaks out in any part of the country, it is the work of the government to actually what? How could the insecurity break out from a place you have militarized? Before you militarize the eastern part of Nigeria, the common crime you get to see as usual is this armed robbery, the normal crimes. Well, they are not normal crimes, Shabo. They've become normal now compared to what you have now. We've witnessed, the carnage we've witnessed in the last couple of years. So even if you hate him that much because they said you should, or you just needed somebody to blame while you watch your criminal politicians hobnobbing with these terrorists. They even have a Asari Dokudump on their payroll too, who bragged, recently he bragged of how he's been helping the Igbo governors to hunt down IPOB, ESN. You guess what? They are picking up on innocent people. That even Amnesty International, they have their own report on the atrocities of Nigeria against the people of Eastern Nigeria. They have their own evidence documented. The number of people killed, those who disappeared, the moment they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, and then they unleashed their terror on the eastern part of Nigeria, just to build a case to say, oh yeah, we are charging him for terrorism. He's responsible. This guy is responsible. Somebody who has no means of making a phone call. He's got no means of receiving or writing any letter. He's got so much restricted visiting. And they have kept him so much incommunicado. But yet out there, they are blaming him for why insecurity increased. And then he said, listen, those of you who are part of this and those who are using you, you should go and stop all that rubbish. There's a video. He said, stop that rubbish. We cannot be killing the people we say we are fighting for. So you are not doing this in my name. And then he went on to say, hey, if I leave this place, 5 minutes after I leave this place, all the nonsense going on in the eastern part of Nigeria will disappear. And they are saying, no, he's a lie, he's lying. He's no longer in their control. So what exactly do you want? Kill him. So that even in death, you can still blame him for whatever is going on. Oh, it's the cause, it's the reason. While those who deliberately, intentionally put together this madness continue to look at the rest of you like, yeah, it's working. They believed us. They do. There are those who don't, like Sowore and others.
Sowore, what the people cannot do. Sowore, God bless you. And they just say, oh, go and face the trial. When they finish, they want to force him
into a conviction so that we'll be begging for pardon. You cannot, I'm not here to ask for pardon. You cannot jail a person who didn't commit a crime.
Yes, sir.
And then be asking us to ask for pardon. The people that needs to be arrested, tried, is Boko Haram, bandits, but most importantly, the international kidnappers that went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. We must know them, they must be tried and jailed. Because they committed an international crime. That is our very simple message to you. Monday, 7 a.m., please. We have met the chairman, and we have asked the chairman to also contact other chairmen that markets should close on Monday.
They won't like that, because this kind of mobilization, right, is not how they usually organize their protest in Nigeria. And that is why it's mostly never really successful. He's received knocks, he's received support and the rest of that. But the thing is that it will hold. Or it will make them make more mistakes. When they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu for a proper court case, right? In Nnamdi Kanu's defense to show to them that he's got no case to answer. Yeah. They did not extradite Nnamdi Kanu. They abducted him. It is called extraordinary rendition. It is an international crime. It's not different from what Boko Haram did to Umaru Diko when they lured him somewhere, drugged him, and then they created him as a special package for the government of Nigeria until somebody raised alarm that this cargo seems suspicious. And when they opened it up, that was a former minister in Nigeria that ran to London when Boko Haram took power, Umaru Diko. That's what they did to Nnamdi Kanu. They sold the false intel to the Kenyan, security. They said Nnamdi Kanu, like they sold the same intel to so many other African countries, because they are aware somebody they called terrorist in Nigeria is right there, traveling all over the world as British, Biafran or Biafran British. Something that gives him, something that if he was actually a terrorist, right, he won't be able to do all of that. But what did Nigeria do? Malamu and co. They sold the false intel. They said if they see Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, he is there to meet with Al-Shabaab, the Somalian terror group. They call them terrorist state group, who always kind of like, infiltrate some of the Kenyans, border towns, like you experience with Cameroon, Niger, and Chad, as the case of Nigeria. So when Nnamdi Kanu got to Kenya, met the people he went there to see, then there's someone he needed to actually pick up at the airport before driving to the airport to pick his guest who was arriving in Kenya too. He visited their own hospital for a quick checkup, meaning he had nothing to hide from. He was always there in the open until they kidnapped him at their airport, Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Kenya. So initially, the Kenyan authority, right, believed the story. So they started interrogating him. Then they realized that, this one has nothing to do with it. It's just a pure waste of time. Now, then let me go. They kept him there. He said they chained him to the ground like this for a week in Kenya, trying to force information out of him. Well, they realized that it was a pure waste of time. It's got nothing to do with any terror group. Then let him go. They said, no, there is more to that. Those who requested for his arrest, Nigeria, they are here to take him home. Take him home. What do you mean? That was the last thing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu probably remember until the plane landed in Abuja, where they covered his head with a hood, chained his hands, and they took him before a judge, Bintan Yako, who then gave them the custodian rights to keep him in perpetuity. You can keep him for as long as you want. A year later, An appeal court said what they did was wrong. No, this is absolute trash. The right thing for you to do right now to save face as a country, as a government, put him on a plane. Ask him where he wanted to go to and just let him go. Then go and do it the right way. Nigeria never requested all the time Nnamdi Kanu was broadcasting, talking. The Nigeria never made a single request for his extradition or reported that he's doing anything illegal to the UK government. Not once. So they were trying to, to see if they could catch him anywhere like a trophy so that they could keep him. That was why when they kidnapped him and got him to Abuja illegally, the Attorney General of the country, Minister of Justice, Malamu, then had to broadcast in Hausa. That was how excited he was. How excited they were. He had to broadcast in Hausa. Wetin concern Hausa people with Nnamdi Kanu from Igbo land? Because he is a trophy. There was never going to be any fair trial. There was never going to be any good justice or anything. It was going to be a charade, a show. And that defeats every purpose. Because in the process, they are releasing terrorists, the real killers, the real murderers. They are walking free, doing their things and all of that. Nobody could touch them. We are talking about them every now and then. As we are seeing them do their fake peace meeting, we are also reporting people that are being killed on the other side. It is like every day, every day. It's a mockery. It is. But NANS said that they won't be part of it. I was like, who invited these people? Did you invite them?
Protest by Sowore and his associates. Call on all parents and guardians to caution their children against being used by selfish politicians. Distinguished members of the press, respected stakeholders in the education sector, fellow Nigerian students, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership of National Association of Nigerian Students has called this press conference to address and clarify the misleading, malicious narrative currently circulating on social media platforms. The narrative firstly claimed that NANS is planning to organize or participate in so-called free Nnamdi Kanu protests slated for October 20th. We wish to state categorically and unequivocally that NANS is not and will not be part of any protest organized or influenced by Maiyegun General or any other political motivated group or individual. The entire claim is false, mysterious, and designed to drag the name of our noble association into political controversies that do not align with our mandate as a student body. As the umbrella body representing all Nigerian students, both home and abroad, NANS believes strongly in the role of law, due process, and peaceful engagement. We understand the matter concerning Nnamdi Kanu is a legal issue currently before a competent court of law, and it would therefore be inappropriate, unlawful, and irresponsible for NANS to take a partisan position or mobilize any form of protest on the matter before the judiciary. Whatever Mr. Sowore and his group are planning or doing is not for their own political interest and has absolutely nothing to do with NANS. We advise him and his co-traveler to stop using the name of NANS to give credibility to their political driving agenda. Our focus as a responsible student organization remains on education, youth development, peace, and national unity, not partisan agitation. We therefore call on parents and guardians across the country to warn their children and warn not to be deceived or lured into joining any protest sponsored by greedy and self-serving politicians who do not mean well for the nation or the student community. This individual exploit the vulnerability and energy of young people for personal gain while abandoning them when crises erupt. We also urge the general public, the media, and the security agency to disregard any publication or message claiming that NANS is mobilizing for a protest related to Nnamdi Kanu or any other political motivated cause. Our focus is on constructive engagement, peaceful education, advocacy, and developmental initiatives that will contribute meaningfully to the progress of our education system and the future of Nigeria. In conclusion, NANS remain a united, law-abiding and patriotic association committed to this peace, progress, and prosperity of Nigeria. We will continue to champion the interests of the students through dialogue.
Nuisance leleyi. Nuisance leleyi.
Go hard now. Now, just for context, the guy that is now parading himself as the NANS president, remember his story? The guy that won the NANS election was abducted by DSS on the order of Nnamdi. They beat the hell out of the guy until the guy had to use his social media to apologize to Nnamdi. So then came this guy who was his candidate and is now in charge of NANS as it is. So you should expect where their loyalty lies. It is not to the students, but to those who are giving them their own crumbs that went due, you know. And they've actually entered Obi as well, because Peter Obi himself believes that Nnamdi Kanu shouldn't have even been arrested at all. Look at me, Maiyegun. I share things, I speak my mind, opinions that get some of you mad, especially the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, and the rest of you, right? There are some actually wishes their government to, somebody should deal with me. And what does that mean? I'm not hurting, okay, maybe I'm hurting some of them, right? But with truth, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just talking about things that affect all of us, every one of us, maybe differently. But there are some of these Ronukus that are like, if they're born, you will come to Nigeria. So if I now go to Nigeria, and then you realize that they've arrested Maiyegun, those who didn't know Maiyegun that much and all that, will begin to say, who be that person, who be that person, and all of that. And then you start seeing the supporters of Maiyegun to say, we no go agree, free Maiyegun. How many of you will even do that for me? We didn't go to the street and say, free Maiyegun now, hashtag free Maiyegun now, free Maiyegun now. They say, who is Maiyegun? I said, that's not his name. His name is Olusola Badero now. I say, but we know him as Maiyegun. I say, okay. Then I'll become somebody that others would now be talking about and say, what did he talk? Go. Oh, he's somebody that he kept abusing elders. He's set abroad. He's trying to incite the people to go and fight the government and all of that stuff. So they will charge me for maybe terrorism or something. Me, terrorism. And they will make some of you believe it. Of course, it's Nigeria. You don't know him. There are people who are sponsoring him from Israel. Oh, people who sponsor him, they are from Saudi Arabia. They will figure out this whole thing and they'll put them before you to justify my detention. But show what there? What Nnamdi Kanu has been saying, they are truth that comes in a very different delicacies. So sometimes it's very spicy. Sometimes it's mild spicy. Sometimes it's pretty much like eating as a vegetarian, uncooked salad and all that. So it comes in different tastes and forms. So once it tastes somehow in your mouth, all you have to do is to take a look at the message very well and say, okay, what was he talking about exactly? How does that really affect me and all that? And you get the truth. So they said he's a terrorist. He wants to divide Nigeria. Yeah, he wanted to divide Nigeria, but he can't single-handedly do that. He knew that the way these guys are going, their effort will end up, we are going to end there, going our separate ways. You can't continue running a country like this. It's not possible. So they may have their time now, but it's just a matter of time. So what is he saying that is pretty much out of place? Other than those who believe they are powerful, are so scared of somebody with microphone, a laptop, and a camera. So Obi believes that they shouldn't have been arrested at all. Then he went on to answer other questions, which will now take us to another story.
Yeah, there's a plan by Sowore to organize a free Nnamdi Kanu protest this week. I don't know if you are in tune with that arrangement.
Well, let me tell you, I've always been consistent on Nnamdi Kanu's flight.
there was no need for the arrest in the first place. And I've always said that for me, and discuss with anybody who said it clearly, and I remain there. And I thank those who actually trying to do with what I'm saying for a long time. Go and check what I've said before 2020, 2022, even 2024. I've said, and now that he has gone because he's been to court, the rules should be followed. Not just for Nnamdi Kanu, for all agitators across the nation. Let's dialogue with them. There's nothing wrong.